Olakau'atu, the man is a freak. He's getting better and better each and every week. There are a couple of tries this one. The one try there. These stats are killing me. Can they please just fix it? It's annoying. Thank God the points are correct, but the rest of the stats aren't. So just if you're looking at this, they're all wrong. All right, Olakau'atu, too big, too strong. Got the footwork. Seems like a smart player as well. And when you've got guys like Jake Trbojevic, in your corner to help teach you as well, and you've got DCE on that right normally. He's gonna end up being an incredible player. Josh Alloy, how simple was that last try, especially, but good on him to be good enough to get a couple of tries and pick up a 76. And if we're looking at Ruben Garrick, he's been incredible. The run meters, the try involvements, and also the goal kicking. Putting that all together, he actually is a really nice fullback. I think he could be pretty serviceable for most teams. He looks a little bit more like a Gutherson mold, I would say, would be Garrick at fullback if we wanted to have a little bit of a comparison. So, yeah, he's been great. The last couple of weeks you've brought him in, you've really got plenty of benefit out of Ruben there. And we move on to Twali Boy. So, actually, just finishing on with Garrick, I think he's definitely in there as a keeper wing fullback. We spoke about this week. Some people were just like, do we just bring him in anyway? And in the People's Squad, we decided to do that, and that's worked out well. So I think he's definitely a keeper. If you didn't bring him in this week, I'd say probably round 18 would be your correct time to bring him in. Just with him only getting a couple of games before the Origin bye week, and then go from there. But Twali Boy 66, we got Offhand Galway, who had a nice game as well with 56, and had a nice try involvement there for him. And then Talatau Gobler there had an awesome game with 55. He finally got his first try. I can't believe it took him that long to get a try, but that 55 is going to really bump up his price rises, which is exactly what we want here. Leading into round 17 to potentially move him on for somewhere around the 450, 500k would be great. If he can have a couple more good weeks, then we could really milk him at the correct time. So really good to see him last week do really well, and then into this week with a 55 also. Great game from Jakey Trbojevic there with 53. That first try assist was awesome, and we can't expect too much more from him. And definitely would have could play a decent role in Origin if he was to get his chance again. But we doubt it at this point. Davey was solid if you still own him, but I don't think many do. Garner we spoke about a little bit. A few people were asking about him being a decent option. He did score a try this week to get his 42, but without that he would have had around that 30, 28 mark, which is not ideal for a big time, big minutes time player. On the edge there, and at 492k was a little bit too much. Tuipulotu, if you still got him, he had a lovely game at 41 there. So if you're still doing that, still playing him, awesome. If he's on your bench, you're still happy with that, with the potential price hold after his light week last week. So much better for him. Schuster with 40, so decent week for him. He's going to be really cheap, so he's going to be a really interesting one in 18, 19, 20 for sure. Brooksy there with 36, not great. Walker, Musgrove, Foreign, obviously solid as well with 34, but he's not really too relevant. Hastings, I think it's time for him to go. The kick meters still aren't there. He's had the few weeks off. That was the week to watch him. We hoped he would do better, but he hasn't. And even with him playing 17, I just don't think it's worth losing all that money over the next bunch of weeks. So he needs to be traded on. Not good enough. Sorry to anyone I said that to give him an extra week, but we needed to. If 2 weeks off isn't going to do it, and make it feel a lot better, then it's probably here for the rest of the season, to be honest. And just not good enough. You're going to lose money. You're going to lose ranks. My head-to-head team's going to cop it for sure this week. So is what it is, but move him on for sure. Lucy Leilua, 19. Ugh, yuck. Marty Tapau, 17. Yuck. Dan Laurie, 11. Also yuck. Brendan Aiden, that tackle, that was scary, man. So he definitely deserved to be sent off, for example. But that's that. Guys, if you're new here, please subscribe, like the video. Appreciate it muchly. All right, we move on to the other two games of the day. Which all three of these games were obviously blowouts, and it was to be expected. Very much, very fair. Here, I actually won both my multis in this one. It went pretty simple and short, which worked out great. I played Panthers to win the first half by a certain amount, and then get a certain amount of points, and then I had Isaac Tungo to score. So thank you to Kurt Mann for dropping that ball over the line, but. For those that continue to captain Cleary, very, very happy for you all. Thankfully, we all still own him. We would take the 79 for sure. Great game for him. Obviously picked up his first or second try of the season. Not sure. We'll check it. Someone will tell me in the comments. But he had a great game. Controlled the game, had a 40-20. Did awesome work across the park there. So great to see him on the back of that poor Origin performance. Let's call it poor for sure. he came out and looked to dominate this game, and he completely did. And we expected that against the Knights, to be fair. Great to see To'o back in his try scoring best, getting 2 there on the right. They just played well both sides of the ball. So great to see that. How he usually would play on the left is how he ended up doing it on the right. And again, after an okay game for him in Origin, he came out and showed why he's super important to that side. Kick out with a nice try. Gee, too big, too strong. You see, get him outside one of his defenders. He carried 2 or 3 over the line. Just too good. Randall with big minutes. Frizzell also as well. So Randall, if you're still owning him, not many do, I don't think, at this point. 17.6, but not many in the top 5,000 anyway. So you get that nice score from Randall. Clem was doing smashingly well, over a point a minute for most of the game, and it was 60 minutes and 51 points. So a solid one. The minutes was not an issue this week. A few people were like, oh, do we hold off on him potentially for losing a few minutes? And that didn't happen. So if you're still interested in Clem, I think it's obviously a great option heading into the next bunch of rounds. He'll play the rest of the year. And guys like Barnett, Kurt Mann didn't affect him, but the main issue there is the fact that Ponga went down early, which made Kurt Mann come on and fill in that role. So yeah, this week it was an issue for minutes, but we still the jury's still out as to if that will affect him or not. With Kurt Mann playing some middle minutes there. Okay, Crichton, if you held on to him, you got the 50 with a try, so you're really happy with that. So well done. That's all you can really say. You not say you got lucky, but he had obviously a nice matchup this week for him. Fisher Harris 49 after his massive score last week, which makes sense. Got decent minutes again, but had a little bit of cattle back. Dom Young had a good game for the Knights, for example. Leota Edwards was solid, if anyone owns him, for 45. Coruscant hasn't worked out in exactly how you wanted it to, unfortunately. You're looking for the odd 60 here when they got the odd player or two out. Obviously, Yo out this week, and everyone else kind of backed up. But the week before was where you wanted that big score. And unfortunately, if you went for Coruscant over Reece Robson, it's a little bit annoying, that's for sure. All right, we got Tongwell with 37. So if you played him, awesome. If you didn't, you played him in the 5 jersey, then still okay. And you're happy that he's not losing any cash. But this is kind of where he's going to be at, I think. He had a beautiful try assist and a try and still picked up 37. Just with To'o back, I think they're going to the right a little bit more. To'o Cleary, obviously him being back. So the start of the season was all left side dominant with Luai. And now that Cleary's back, you can see the scores definitely slowed down a little bit. Teams worked out how to defend him a little bit more as well to go along with their slight shift to the right a little bit more, which they're obviously going to go that way. They've got Crichton there, they've got To'o. It makes sense to split both sides. So this is where you could say, okay, Tonga was averaged 43 for the year, and this is mainly on the back of an incredible start, and then he's slowed down from there. So if you are trading him out, it's completely fine. I completely understand why you would do that. Luai's in there. Eisenuth was weird. He got the lesser minutes because he was doing really well. And then we look down the end. You've got Kurt Mann. So if you still own him, there's a decent 2.9%. Not much now, but he had a tough game along with Dangagai with the 4 and Ponga going off with the 2. So yeah, if you got Ponga, yuck. I'm sorry. That's all I can say. All right, Mitchell Sharks and the Warriors. So that try from DWZ was incredible. Just watching that back again a few times today. Incredible finish. But Sharks was a very interesting one. If you end up captaining Hines, you were very worried for the first portion of the game. Ended up with 22 at halftime, and thankfully got a fair bit more involved in the back end. Tries, minimal tries, assists himself, but overall we'll take the 61. Obviously it's 18 less points that you get for captaining him over Cleary, which is not the end of the world, thankfully. So don't stress too much about that. Wade Egan had a lovely try and plenty of involvement, some nice crisp passing out in front as well. Yeah, we spoke about Hines. So McInnes there with the 60 was great. 63 minutes. If we can continue getting that week on week, I think he's improving as a player, getting back to where he was. He's getting some offloads. He's running the ball well, getting the odd tackle break as well. Considering he's a smaller guy through the middle, he can jink and step and do his thing. So McInnes, pretty close to a must-have now. He's going to be over 700k now, heading into next week, and I think he's going to be averaging somewhere in the mid-50s. So you're still getting him at a little bit of a discount. I think he can do a great job for anyone who decides to pick McInnes up, and I'm very thankful that I have him. Great to see Walsh get his first try, and for those that I said just continue holding him, finally got a good score, even in a game where they got pumped. But to be up 10-0 early, he had a bit of involvement, which was great. So well done if you held on to him. Moylan had a terrific game of football. Considering obviously the fantasy score aside, he just had a terrific game. Great passes out in front, good eyes up footy. Getting his own meaty in there as well was awesome. So well on to Moylan. Shout out to you for that one. Talakai, you got 1-on-1. stepped in outside his man. That was good footwork to score as well. So 53 for him if you decided to pick him up. If you played him in draft stars like I was talking about, then he was a good one there. Katoa, Balasiranen. All right, now we speak about some of the interesting ones. So you've got Tohu with 42, Tavanga with 39, and also Aiken with 38. So here with Harris, unfortunately, the tackles aren't there as much as we would have hoped. And he used to be someone that would make, be 40 tackles, 150 meters every game. And just the base stats aren't there at the moment. And he would have the odd bit of attacking stats, but that wasn't where his bread was buttered. It was more through just that work ethic through the middle. And it's not there at the moment. Yes, they're getting a lot of, big points scored against them. So 38 to 16 is 54 points there in the entire game. And anytime you're getting over around that 40 points in a match, you're just going to have less middle stats in terms of that base. So with Tohu, it's a real frustrating one at the moment. The 31 into a 42. We're hoping obviously for a bounce back, and thankfully we don't have him at a price point of that mid 50s, 60 average currently. He's in that sort of mid 40s to high 40s there at 650, and he'll be a little bit lower again after this week. So very interesting how that's playing out, but we do have to hold him and hope that they obviously come good. And when Warriors play a few lesser teams, when they're not going to get absolutely hammered each week, then he'll be scoring a lot better, like he did a few weeks ago. He had that 50, had the 59, I believe, 2 weeks in a row. So he'll get back to that. It's just, very frustrating at the moment, considering, thankfully, that everyone pretty much has him in the top sort of 5,000, but very annoying there with that score. And Tavanga 39, we generally spoke about him as being a sell last week. And then Aiken 38, so he did okay, right? But a few people asked me, should we be selling him this week? I'm leaning closer and closer to doing that. But again, you've got an edge forward that in a game where these forwards aren't scoring too well, you can understand why he's getting that lower one. But generally with Aiken, your low scores are going to be around that low to mid 30s, whereas your lower scores for a centre, for example, which pretty much everyone but Burton in that situation there in the centres is going to have those lower games. And Aiken and Burton are going to be around that 30 odd as a low. You even saw Joey Manu as someone that we see as a freak athlete and amazing. He played some centre, moved into the into the 5/8 position there when Cleary went down, and he still picked up a 31 there. So, it's going to happen to the majority of these players. And if you want a little bit of a voice of reason as to why you should be holding Aiken, it is that he has a couple of 80s this year. He has games where he just generally plays the 80 and does his thing and gets 50. So without having to be spectacular, that's the reason why you should be holding him. And the reason why you would think about selling him is just the fact that he's had a bunch of these lower games and his average is dropping a little bit now. But 49 coming into this week, it sits at about 48 after 48.5 after this. So that'd be the reason I'd be looking to hold him, but I understand why you look to push him out of that. And obviously didn't get the full 80 minutes as well, which is obviously a slight issue, but we'll have to just wait and see. And if things change and he's not getting the full 80 come round 17, then that's when we would look to move him on, and that would be the main reason I would do so. Curran came on and got 30 in his 50 odd minutes, so good to see for him to be back on the park. We'll see how that goes in terms of, does he get a starting spot? Does he obviously take all the Murchie minutes? How does this work for him going forward? And we'll find that out over the next few weeks and make our decisions on what to do with Curran, considering there's a good chance that he's going to drop a fair bit of cash and could be a solid, cheaper option if he continues to play some minutes off the bench and get some lower scores. So that's something interesting to think about. And then Harris Tavita, shout out for the 4 in the full 80 minutes, and Kennedy for 20. A few people asking about him, that he's going to be right down to a 220 kind of K player soon. Yeah, why would you want to pick him up for someone that's would have almost lost 300k by that point? He just isn't playing as good as last year, and just isn't. He had an all-time year last year and averaged 40, or just under 40. So he's not someone that's ever been a superstar fantasy player, and at this point, you're not getting. You're going to get him to score a random -4 or a random 3 or a random 20 like this, and it just stunts all growth in price. So there you go, guys. Let's see your 3 games for your Sunday afternoon. I hope you enjoyed all of them. Plenty of good footy being played by. Just in this game alone, like if you look at every one of the tries, just the crisp passing, the nice offloads, same in the Panthers game. So you can tell that when the Sharks get things right, they are a formidable force in this league. They have so much talent on either edge as well that they can do it. It's just being able to put it all together week in, week out is the slight issue for them at the moment. But against a Warriors team, it can obviously make you look a little bit more spectacular than you are, for example. Same with the Cowboys against the Dragons the other night. But there you go, guys. That's that video. Subscribe, like this video. Appreciate all of you so much. We'll catch you in the next video. Good luck with your final game for this week. The Eels v the Dogs, sorry. And just let me know in the comments how many players you got remaining heading into this one. I think I have 4 or 5. So yeah, it looks like a lot of these guys, a lot of people are picking up Eels players at the moment. So I wish you all the best of luck. See you later.